Okay, let me give some background here. I'm not listing this as blind on YouTube, but I have played Final Fantasy XII before. 15 years ago, I waited in line at midnight to get it on launch day back in 2006, and I took several days off work and I just played it and went really, really hard on it for several days, beat it, and then never played it again. So honestly, I could probably put this as blind and feel comfortable with that. I don't remember anything from it. I think blindish is probably a good way to put it. Yeah, the only things I remember that Bosch is basically the main character, not Vaughn and Pinello, and that they kind of added Vaughn and Pinello as like is it like they couldn't have a 30-year-old main character or something like that, something stupid like that. And I remember some interesting things with a character named Sid that were surprising. So unfortunately that, I guess you can consider that spoiled for me, but I don't remember any of the levels or the dungeons or the boss fights. I maybe remember fighting some espers early in the game, like before you were supposed to, and using active pause to pause constantly to beat bosses way before I was supposed to, and finding that pretty cool. So I also haven't played Zodiac Age. This is a job system. They got rid of the license board, so I'm completely blind to everything that's in the Zodiac Age, and I'm kind of excited to see what's in there. Let's go ahead and get started. Not great, not terrible. Oh, circles confirmed. That's weird. I think they switched to a X button confirm for every other PC game. Guess I can fix it here, huh? Oh, it's even weirder. Oh, right, I have to press circle to switch it to the other one. Alright, that's fine. Got it. Okay, cool. High is fine. This is all fine. Subtitles on. Vibration on. Oh god. Original, please. Thank you. Cool. Start a new game. I do remember I had been playing a shitload of Final Fantasy XI before I played this game, and I remember seeing promotional material for this game, like seeing the combat system, and be like, oh, it's Final Fantasy XI but single player? And that's reinforced when you run into a bunch of enemy models that are like directly lifted from Final Fantasy XI. Like I remember right outside the base town, you run into these like Mandragora things, and the model is like direct from 11. So, 12 takes place in Ivalice, but it takes place in the Ivalice of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, not the Ivalice of the original Final Fantasy Tactics, right? To the extent that that matters. Or that they're not the same place. Audio balance looks okay in my equalizer, but if it's too quiet or too loud, let me know. Yeah, Tactics is Ivalice. Tactics and Vagrant Story. That's the first Ivalice game. Single-player MMO combat.
In the presence of these holy relics, I hereby pronounce you man and wife from this time forth. May the blessings of the gods light your path for all eternity. Far on.
Oh, I remember the Gambit system being cool, and I continue to be frustrated that other modern games don't have a Gambit system when they could. That are dependent on AI allies, I guess I should say, right? Like, I think I would hate Persona 3 significantly less if I could at least program my allies to not be idiots.
Nabudis has fallen. Impossible!
My father? I know not.
I don't remember any of these characters.
If Nabudis has indeed
That guy might be Bosch.
It's only a matter of time before they reach the borders of Dalmasca.
This game is the same composer as Final Fantasy Tactics as well, right?
Secure Nalbina with all haste.
Gambits are you can program your party members. You can tell them that when this character's health is below 20%, cast Kiraga. Whenever someone's poisoned, cast Poisona. And you can give them a priority system. Ooh, strong Star Wars prequel energy. Oh, is this not the original cutscene? I don't remember, so I'm not going to be able to really compare it to the original version.
Galtea, stand watch over your life.
That I be considered worthy.
Some of the people look like real human beings, and some of them look like anime characters, like the Prince guy, right? Okay. Anything like PS2 and beyond, I don't think I could really tell you how things look differently graphically, because PS2, GameCube, and beyond has always just looked fine in my mind's eye when I remember it, compared to like the Popeye arms from FF7. I remember being more forgiving of this game, even though I was bummed out about Sakaguchi leaving, because it was like, oh, it's an Evil East game. Evil East composer, Evil East writing team, it's fine. It feels more obviously different. This is a pretty cool opening cutscene. The aggressive use of chocobos.
The fortress is lost! We must withdraw!
No! The paling still stands.
Did you think about how inspired by, like, Lord of the Rings and the Star Wars prequels this game was? FF6 is pretty heavily Star Wars inspired.
The paling's fallen! Then it's over!
For my father.
For my father! Lord Rasler!
Scene needs more Theoden being grumpy. And it's like, forget these guys. Let's go follow Vaughn and Pinello.
Blessings of the Great Father descend, and guide your bodies return to the earth. Great Father, guide your spirits return
Vaughn's
to the Mother
Frodo.
of all. There you shall find peace. Faro.
It itself is hidden fortress, right? Like you could do a Vaughn and Pinello thing where they're like the, you know, the Luke Skywalker idiot commoner on the ground that is kind of thrown into all of this
The death of Lord Rasla
nobility stuff and has to ask a bunch of
was but one of
questions.
many tragedies to befall the kingdom of Dalmasca. The air of hope that had surrounded Her Royal Highness Princess Asha's wedding was now quite lost. Dalmasca had been set adrift at the mercy of history's restless tides. At this time, two great empires struggled for dominion over Ivalice. Arcadia in the east, Rosaria the west.
Any of this.
The invasion of the Kingdom of Nabradia was Arcadia's first step in its westward march. With Lord Rossla's beloved homeland consumed by the hellfires of war, it seemed clear that Arcadia would soon mete out a like fate to Dalmasca. The fall of the fortress at Nalbina told the destruction of the greater part of Dalmasca's forces. A counterattack was mounted by the order of the Knights of Dalmasca, ever brave and faithful. But against the martial might of the Arcadian armies, they stood little chance of victory. Indeed, their defeat was to be absolute. Soon thereafter, Arcadia came forward.
I know the
offering terms
soundtrack
of
really
peace,
well from Rainwave.
or, as one might rather put it, terms of Dalmasca's surrender. Lord Romanos, King of Dalmasca, and my dear friend, had no choice but to accept these terms.
Beloved.
It was
Only with reluctance.
thus, only with reluctance that he set out for Nalbina Fortress, now under Arcadian occupation, to affix his seal to the Emperor's Treaty of Peace. The king had scarce departed his royal city of Rabanasta when the remnants of the Order made their return, and not a moment too soon, for a terrible revelation awaited them. The treaty would be signed with steel and writ in royal blood.
Ondor the Fourth. Who's the guy that's telling the story and tactics? Is it Orlando?
You there? Can you hear me?
It's as I feared. They're slowing us down.
Do not say that. Not all of us are here for love of battle.
Oh, Durai, that's right.
His homeland. Your name?
Rex, sir. My name's Rex.
Good. Rex. You bore a few cuts, but you are still whole. Well, can you stand?
The Durai record or something?
Think you can fight?
Rex is already
I'm
a
fine,
better
sir.
player
How old
camera,
are you,
right?
Rex?
16?
17, sir.
Close. Grizzled
Young.
veteran.
Family?
My brother is all I have left, sir. He's 2 years younger than I, living in Rabanastre.
So young. You're barely old enough to be a man. You shouldn't be forced to wield a sword.
No, sir. I want to fight. For my homeland. And for my parents.
It's time, Bosch. Save the discussion for later. We must reach the king before they act, or all our efforts will be in vain.
I'm
Oh, they
aware
got
of
the
situation.
characters to look like the tactics art too, instead of it being
Vossel, go ahead. I will handle this rabble.
Yoshitaka Amano or Tetsuya Nomura.
Godspeed.
Yeah, I can kind of hear the audio compression in the voice acting. Cool opening.
Steady, Rex. Keep your wits about you and you'll make it. We move!
Just the viewing angle. Game looks pretty good. Little smiley face. UI's pretty clean too. Action icon. Ah, yes, the mid-aughts tutorializing. Still thinking about whether I want to do a Final Fantasy XI off-stream playthrough to figure out how much of it's playable solo now. I think they have the equivalent of a trust system for most of the content in the game. Automatically attack like an MMO. Oh god, how do I turn that off? I think I just did. Like a fast forward option, basically.
Captain?
Yeah, 11 came out, it was developed at the same time as WoW, so it didn't really learn from WoW for several years. It's a really cool game, had some cool boss fights. Hey, this song. I love this track. Finally, we have good battle music again after 10-2's really uninspired boss music. I don't remember this game having such high technology. It's a little bit higher tech than like your like Victorian steampunk in Final Fantasy VI. That's fun.
She'll not hold much longer.
We receive you, Tomberry. You've leave to retire. Well fought.
My thanks, Antlion. Tonberry disengaging.
Antlion and Tonberry. This game is very much Final Fantasy 11, but you can pause it. Even down to like having the lines come out of the characters to show who they're targeting. That was in 11 as well. 11 was just kind of a cruel game. Yeah, that's cool. They have those zone boundaries in 14 as well, right? Reach the king before he signs the treaty.
Vossler! Where are you?
What if Captain Azulis has fallen?
Don't talk such nonsense. Vossler's laughed in the face of death far too many times for him to stop now.
You can
Men
only
like
solo
him
as a
don't
blue
die in
mage.
places like this.
You need a full party to fight
We
crabs
must make haste to
and
reach
bats.
the king. We will take him to safety.
And you pretty much
Is His
only fought
Majesty unharmed?
crabs and
He'll
bats.
agree to an unconditional surrender. They wouldn't dare touch him until the wax on his seal is dry.
Preferably needed
What
to
if we
fight them
arrive
near a
after he
zone
signed the
boundary so you
treaty?
could run away if something bad happened.
Quickly, Rex.
Right trigger command can allow you to abandon the fight with an enemy and run away. Nothing to be ashamed about, as long as you guys don't have like a brave sword or chicken knife. Does the Zodiac age fix the spear problem? The walkthrough bait spear where there's certain chests you're not allowed to open? I'm probably not going to go for anything crazy like that. Remember that spear? I remember there being an optional boss that had like a comical amount of health that took hours and hours to fight. Which Final Fantasy XI also had a comical boss that took like 36 hours to beat. I was in the Link shell that downed it eventually. Every class in Final Fantasy XI had what was called a 2-hour ability, because the cooldown on it was 2 hours long. Good God. And this boss, Absolute Virtue, that took like 24 plus hours to kill, could use every class's 2-hour ability. And the White Mage's 2-hour ability was called Benediction, and it just filled everyone in the party to full health. So you'd be fighting this really hard boss, and there was just a chance that it could heal itself to full. Cool game. I'll probably talk about it a bunch in this playthrough since this uses so much material from 11. I think they may have patched it to make it possible. We did a thing where a maximum of 18 players could be attacking a boss at the same time.
Don't let them escape!
So we just had a whole bunch of Link shells allied together to fight it. And you would you'd play as a black mage, you would go in there with full MP, you would dump all of your MP on your highest damage spells, then you would drop party and they'd sub in another party to keep doing that. And yeah, preferably you'd have black mages who had their 2-hour up. Because that gave you infinite MP temporarily. Still prefer autosaves where possible. Cute. Oh, it even has XP chains. That was also an 11. That was the main way you leveled up. So you would go to a zone boundary because you needed to have a boundary so you could run away if something bad happened. I might have to go up the stairs here. Oh, this works. Can I use a potion out of battle? I think so. Oh, maybe I can just do it from outside combat? Ah, here we go. I think there's still XP chains in Final Fantasy 14 as well, right? They just don't matter. But anyway, you would like pull a crab to your party, and then you would all go all out to try to kill the single crab. And then you'd start a timer where you would get a significant XP boost for the next crab you killed, and so on. And you would try to get and then maintain a chain 5 or higher. So it was kind of stressful. Like, if you slowed down for any reason, you could screw over everyone's XP gain rate by like a factor of 2 or worse. And then a common thing that would happen would be someone would be running through the zone and they'd have like a train of monsters chasing them. And if they made it to the zone boundary, the monsters would all de-aggro, but they wouldn't despawn, so they would just attack anyone standing there. So it was a pretty easy way to get murdered. Damn. Yeah, I don't remember anything from this game. This I should just call this blind. I probably won't. The couple times I've classified something as blind with a caveat, people have gotten pissed on YouTube, so... Shit, that's not good.
Your Majesty. Captain, why? Our king, what have you done?
The king intended all along to sell Damascus to the Empire. His Majesty was a traitor.
Captain,
Cool.
Seize the insurgent.
Hello!
Yeah, it works well in crosscode.
Well, so much for peaceful negotiations.
We'll never surrender to you. We are not cattle to be sold by a traitor king.
But the war is over, my dear captain. You have lost. Dalmasca is the property of the Empire now. And think, we intended to let you keep some of your sovereignty, out of respect. But now you've gone and ruined that. Haven't you, Captain?
It wasn't a single type of creature in 11
and
either,
the people
but
of Dalmasca will hate you for it.
in practice it was, because you would only fight enemies
Take the
that had
captain
weak
away.
abilities. Hey, thanks, Kami.
Off you go.
But if you pulled a bat instead of a crab, the bat might kill you because it might have an ability you weren't prepared to deal with.
Vaughn.
Didn't remember that Vaughn was Rex's brother, or that you started the game playing as Rex, or that Rex existed. But I like that as an opening. Raises a lot of good questions.
Pretenses of peace left by the wayside.
You get
The Arcadian
tutorialized.
forces resumed their advance toward Rabanasta. Dalmasca's doom had been decided. To make resistance would serve no end. With this foremost in my thoughts, I to the people of Dalmasca. Sons and daughters of Dalmasca, I bid you lay down your arms. Raise songs of prayer in their stead. Prayer for His Majesty King Raminas, ever merciful.
Yeah, the thing in 11
a
was
man
they had to
devoted
be
wholly
the
to
same
peace.
level or higher. And the
Prayer too
benefit from the
for
chain would be
noble
higher the higher the
Princess
level
Ash,
the mob was.
who, wrought with grief at her kingdom's defeat, has taken her own life.
Damn.
Know also that Captain Bosch von Ronsenberg, for incitement of sedition and the assassination of His Royal Majesty King Raminas, has been found guilty of high treason and put to his death. They who at this late hour choose still the sword are cut of the same cloth as the captain. Traitors who would lead Dalmasca to her ruin. Dalmasca's surrender without terms was soon to follow.
All right, I'm invested. I like the story so far. I figured it was a bad sign that the story didn't really lodge in my brain too much, but I've also played Final Fantasy Tactics 10 times, and I don't know if I could really tell you what that game story is. There are evil rocks that turn you into the devil, and Jesus is also a devil, and we gotta go kill Jesus.
Hurry it up or they'll find us.
I know. Just a little more.
Good thing you're invested, because now it's Vaughn
You keep an
time.
eye out for me up there, Kites. 1, 2.
Literally tavern
3 more.
rats.
All right. Time to clean house.
I remember tavern rats being a meme in 2006 and finding this funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, Vaughn, you got him all yourself? Guess I know who to call when something big comes along.
Hey, it's good practice for the desert. I'm ready for anything now. That's enough for today.
Ready for anything.
You should get back to Miguel's place, Kites. Aren't you running errands for him?
Oops, totally forgot.
Notorious
You
monster.
should come, Vaughn.
That's what they were called in
He's
Final
busy
Fantasy
today.
11.
Might have some work
World
for
bosses.
you to do, too.
I've got other, work to do. Hey, lock this place up for me, will you? If Miguel finds out we've been down here, he'll tan our hides.
I really like this track, the Rabanastra theme. Notorious Monsters was where you got a lot of your gear in Final Fantasy 11.
Huh? What'd you say?
A lot of them only spawned like once a day or once an hour.
Haven't paid?
On second thought, please, sir, take it. It's a gift.
Leave the poor sod be. We don't want trouble today. Your luck, peddler.
Oops, sorry.
He's like
That's
Aladdin.
where you're going, churl. What? My pouch! It's gone! The boy! Get out the way! Oh!
What? Hey, that's mine.
What do you mean, yours? You've been stealing again. What happens if they catch you? We need you to be there for us, Vaughn. You're no good to anyone if you're locked away in a dungeon.
Oh,
What would you describe
Am
her
I the leader
pants?
now?
Chaps?
We're orphans. The first thing you learn is you gotta watch out for yourself. Come on, Pinello. You know it as well as I do. Hey, you give that back. What do you think you're doing?
I thought that this money was the people of
don't.
Dalmasca's property. The Imperials stole it from us, so it's only fair that we take it back. It's our duty as Dalmascans.
I think Andrea saw a screenshot
well,
of Ash.
Wasn't that what you said?
She has like the weird, like
Yeah,
tiny
but
little
I
strip
never
of
said
pink
anything
cloth.
about taking it
Oh,
back
God.
from me.
As you know,
This
we're
is
orphans.
for that bread you took the other day. Just because I help Miguelo out every now and then, it doesn't mean that you get to eat for free too, you know.
I know that. You think I like living like this?
As you know, is in everything. It's like an unavoidable reality of storytelling, I think.
One of these days, I'll fly an airship of my own. I'll be a sky pirate, free to go where I will.
Got it. Vaughn's motivation is to be a sky pirate.
Well, be careful. You'll never fly anything if you're rotting in a dungeon. Oh, Miguelo had some errands that need doing. He wanted you to drop by his place. It might be a good idea to lend a hand.
Like Penelope Boo. She's Iago. She was supposed to be voiced by Gilbert Gottfried, but he had a conflict. Use the equip command to modify a character's equipment. Equipment's cool. But you originally needed licenses. Yeah, light armor, daggers one. So the Zodiac Job Edition hasn't gotten rid of the license board. Interesting. I guess don't spoil. That was speculative. I think I want these to be fast. I think I can still freely pause, right? Oops. One gil ought to do it. Sure, let's hear it. Rabanastre lost the war with the Empire. Empire is one person who runs the city. He's called a consul. Thanks, kid. So there's the Bonga, right? Who are also in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Let's see Miguelo first. Oops. That's disorienting.
Ah, Vaughn, I was waiting.
Pinello said you needed something?
Had me
Bro.
some packing
VG Cat's never updating.
Arriving by courier. In the morning, perhaps he ran into some trouble out in the desert. Now I've no foodstuffs to prepare for the banquet tonight.
So you want me to find this courier? Hey, no problem.
No problem. The desert teems with trouble. I'd be sending you to an early grave, my boy. No, I've arranged for some replacement goods from Tomage over at the Sand Sea.
So you want me to go to the tavern to pick him up?
Actually, I asked Kites to do that. Wouldn't you know he's gone missing on me, too? I can't leave my shop, and I've Pinello on another chore at the moment, you see. What I want you to do is run over to the Sand Sea and fetch Kites back. What do you say?
Sounds like a quest. Sure. Banga.
It's easy work, and you'll thank me for it someday.
There's the Numo, the Banga, the Vieira, the Mughals, right? These are all have a special role in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance in this game. I forget who the, like, moblin-looking motherfuckers are. Seek. Oh, this is nice. Good, I don't have to pull up the map constantly. I was worried about that. VG Cats kind of had this, like... This isn't gonna come off as mean, but... made sense at the time, and almost every gaming webcomic did this. There's this sort of, like, low-effort style of video game comedy that's, like... just poking fun at ludonarrative dissonance, and, like, that's the joke, right? Like, oh my god, the merchant in Resident Evil 4 shows up all the time in weird places.
There you are, Kites.
Even though he's one guy.
Around.
That's so crazy.
Look, this is it. This is why Miguelo's
Yeah,
courier didn't get
I enjoyed
here on
it
time.
when I was a kid. I don't think they did anything wrong, but
what is that thing?
It's a notorious monster.
Ah, Va.
It's a Final Fantasy 11 Mandragora, but it's
Miguelo
got
sent you
a
too, did he? He's a busy man these
tomato
days, that
head.
Miguelo, if I dare say so myself. I don't envy him the work, though. Not a bit. Quite the affair throwing a banquet to welcome the Imperials, eh?
Welcoming? We should be... whatever. Say, Tomage, what's this?
Nah, don't remind me. Got some nastiness out there in the Ester Sand. What's stopping our couriers? And that means shortages all around. Thought I'd put up a bill, offer a reward to anyone who can knock that nasty back in its place.
Now that's work. Sounds 10 times better than running errands for Miguelo.
That's right. Vaughn, you should give it a shot.
And you should be getting back to Miguelo.
Okay,
Now, Kites.
so
He was waiting for you.
I was very invested in the story
right.
at the beginning. I don't give a shit about Vaughn at all, though. And not just because I remember that I shouldn't give a shit about Vaughn. I guess I'm still interested because you have the specter of the opening events of the game, which took place 2 years before the beginning, right? Like, when are we going to get back to that? What's the street rat's life like? Is it true that Vaughn was actually added into the game, like, after the fact, and was never intended to be a character? Of course, we got a fucking hunt board. Sort of the things they make fun of in Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden. It's like, someone tells you that they want you to do something for them. I was like, no, you can't accept it from me. You have to go get it from the hunt board. So you go to the hunt board and you do the job. And you go back to tell the person, and you're like, hey, I did your job for you. It's like, you can't tell me. You have to go complete the job at the hunt board and then talk to me. Clan Primer. They needed characters the player could relate to better. Yeah. So basically, they needed a camera. Audience insert, which is completely fine. Like, you gotta have your Luke Skywalker. Titus is great. Like, he is a perfect audience insert, needs to be asking questions and have things explained to him constantly. Licenses have been added. Transit. Rogue Tomato. The hunt begins. Be able to change boards later. Oh, why would I? No. License board was a neat idea. Oh, they changed it. Oh, okay. So each of the jobs has a... weird... Bushi? Oh, samurai. Like Bushido. Black mage. So, okay, I heard Zodiac job system, and I think I assumed that it was going to completely redo the entire core mechanic. But it sounds like these are all just like sub-license boards that they've like gotten a collection of license options and said, okay, well, this is like knight, this is like a red mage or whatever. Like how some of these are just different enough from like the traditional Final Fantasy name that it's not quite the original developer of Final Fantasy XIV who like had a grudge against Final Fantasy, and I'm not gonna call it a monk, it's a pugilist. It's a thaumaturge. Fuck you, dude. Spears. Ulan is spears and revive. Convert foe to friend. I guess he already has a dagger, so I guess why don't we try Shikari? Preview license board. Okay, yeah, so that's basically what it is. If I recall, the original license board was just one giant board, right? And the different characters started in different sections of the board, similar to starting in different sections of the sphere grid, right? Gain MP after taking damage. Why not? Ninja Thief. Oh, so before you had to select the thing to preview what was under it, but now you can just see what's under things. You just can't select them until you get there. Okay. Cool. I remember not hating the license board. I thought it was a cool idea. Slightly raises max HP. Clan Primer. Hunts. Tomage. What all is missable in this game? Is there a lot I have to worry about? I'm not going to 100% it, but... Restoring MP. Is it region? Okay. MP walk. So let me clear all these really quick. Speed mode. Faux look. Okay, that's helpful. Know an enemy. Arm thyself. Licenses, we just read about that. Magics and techniques, it's fine. Have loot will sell. So most enemies drop vendor trash, basically. Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's like hunts that I can only do temporarily or chests that I can only access temporarily. I guess if there's something interesting that's missable, let me know. I feel like the espers are cool, and I wouldn't want to miss any of those if any of them are missable. It's really uncomfortable running that fast. It's Low Town, which is not where we want to go. Exiting the towns like this was kind of similar to 11. You had guards at the gates. I don't think this game has the signet. That was a really weird mechanic in Final Fantasy 11. Guards had to cast a buff on you that caused crystals to drop.
Oh, gee, that's too bad. You see, it just so happens that your provisioner for the fate tonight, he sent me to pick up a few choice morsels for the consul's dining pleasure. He wants them quick. I got the writ of transit right here. You see? Signed, Magello. I just hate to see the consul upset because his food wasn't ready on time. And I sure hate to see him take it out on you.
The Lord Consul is a great man, and not one that...
Oh, the evil British Empire. Very Star Wars. Missable steels.
Move along, boy.
Is it mainly bosses that have cool steels?
Right. Gates are closed after this.
I guess if there's a significant, interesting, missable steel, let me know. You can backseat with that. I'd rather not follow a guide. Is there a save point here? The big over-the-top crystal. It's nice. I think that T-Rex is meant to be like a fucks you up if you fight it too early. Seems familiar-ish. I don't think I can adjust the fast forward. It's pressing the left stick, but I'm pressing the D-pad and nothing's happening. Oh, wait. No, it does work. Thank you, Aki. The 2x fast forward is much more reasonable. You pretty much loot stuff automatically, right? Okay, I had to get closer to it. I would have been super into grinding at this stage in the game when I was a kid. Assume I don't have to do too much of that here. Steel. Is that special to the PC version, the autosave? Localization style guide, yeah. Jimmy's sleeping, that's kind of cool, I don't remember that. Ergo gem. You kind of like the Zodiac stuff in the Tactics Evil East universe, it's cool. I feel like the fast forward feels fine in like regular turn-based Final Fantasy combat, but in this game it's disorienting. I might not use it too much. Or maybe stick to the 2x fast forward. But it's going to be hard not to use it now that the tool's available, right? Because why would I stand there and just watch him slowly swing his sword at something? Very Benny Hill. I'll think about it.
Never thought I'd see him growing out here. This'll make a nice souvenir. Time to call it a day.
It's gonna be hard, it's because it's gonna be in my mind that I could be using it, right? I ended up using the fast forward in Final Fantasy 12 or Final Fantasy 8, but only when I was like farming for draws and stuff. So maybe I'll reserve it for when I need to like quickly grind something out, or if an enemy just has too much health or something. You stole a wolf pelt. That's dark. How do you do that? Two X isn't that bad. Look at how clean this game looks. Like, the UI is really, really nice, I think. Interesting. Oops. Looking on licenses here. Libra. Or HP to 1 critical ally. HP critical ally. Hey.
Bang! This gate's closed until the ceremony's over, do you hear?
Now what?
Open the gate!
Cool, evil chocobo barding.
Alright, out the way.
Wait a second. How come you let these chocobos
Yeah,
through the
I just
gate
don't
and
remember
not us?
PS2 games as
What
looking
of it?
bad compared to
This
modern
is
games.
a pedigreed parader, boy. Cost tens
I
of
wish they would make
thousands
more
of
games that
deal
look
this
like
one did.
PS2 games and save some money
Prettier
because they look
price than
fine.
100 of you provincials would fetch. Keep your distance. We don't want the chocobos sticking a peasant.
What'd you say?
Step aside.
You are a
Right
peasant.
then, move 'em in.
Street rat.
Well,
Oh, that sucks.
that does it.
Oh, a fine chocobo you have there. Yes, cedar down stock, if I'm not mistaken. Change the soil, change the chocobo, am I right? Yes, different soil means different bouquet, too. Take a Dalmascan Barrow's wine, It may lack the flavor and depth of some of your Arcadian wines.
It is John
but it has a
DiMaggio,
certain
right?
Strength of character. It's not bad, really, once you get used to it. Care for some, sirs? There's more than enough for all to cool their throats, of course.
You let these carts through and the closest gate is ordered. My mail's choked with this sand.
Don't give me a scare like that. You're lucky that ended where it did.
Right. Now's our chance to go through.
The
Yeah,
ceremony
Pinello's
will be
voice lines are
starting
pretty
soon. I'd best be
compressed
hurrying.
sounding.
Okay, well... Vaughn, wait! What is it? Vaughn!
This dude's cool looking. Commoners are also buff.
We will have order. I give you your new consul, His Imperial Highness Lord Vane Solidor, Commandant of the Arcadian Empire's Western on... Your Excellency.
Vane, you say? It's just kind of a style from the Final Fantasy Tactics actor or artist.
People of Rabanasta, is it with hatred you look upon your consul? With hatred you look upon the Empire.
Pretty much, yeah.
There was little point in asking. But know this, I harbor no idle hopes of frustrating that hatred. Nor shall I ask your fealty. That is the due of your fallen king, and rightly so. King Ramanas loved his people, strove to bring you peace. His was a rule worthy of your devotion. Even now, he remains among you, protecting you. His ardor for the peace and weal of Dalmasca falters not. I would ask only that you do your king honor.
Wheels a good
Together,
word.
let us embrace the peace His Majesty would surely desire. 2 years now divide us from war's bitter end, yet still its shadow looms over all, stifling the infant peace, a pall only you may cast off. Achieve but this one thing, and your hatred of me and of the Empire will grieve me not. I will stand fast. I will endure your hatred, suffer your slings and arrows. I will defend Dalmasca. Here I will pay my debt. I swear it now. Though King Ramanas
This is
and
in
Lady
the era
Ash be
of-
gone, they stand ever at the side of their people. In honoring peace, you do honor to their memory and to Dalmasca. What I ask plain. My hopes now rest
Yeah,
with
it's
you.
more like well-being. Might even be the root for welfare. Wheelfare. I guess you could argue to the same thing. So before Koji Fox gets on board, and he's like, let's bust out all of the fucking crazy archaic terms.
It is magnificent. Take this cathedral, for instance. Elegant, yet whimsical in its execution. A stunning example of Galtean architecture. I hope Lord Gramus might one day look upon it himself.
The patron of this evening's banquet, may it please your excellency.
I am Miguelo, your highness. It is truly a profound honor to make the acquaintance of our future emperor, highness. The people of Rabanasta join me in welcoming
That's
you.
enough of highness. Though indeed I am our emperor's son,
Now
I am
the
no prince.
gap between the FMV
Arcadia's
graphics and the normal
emperor
engine
is freely
in-engine
chosen by her
graphics is
people.
shrinking, but
I am but an elected official and nothing more.
I meant no disrespect.
Now that I think on it, I would not have you address me as Lord Consul, for that matter.
No?
Henceforth, I am a citizen of Rabanasta.
they're a big fan
Why
of the
don't you call
articulated
me
hair, right?
I could not. That would not be right.
You are overly fond of formalities. I've just the remedy for that. Tonight you will join me, and we shall drink until you call me by name.
You guys got a great introduction.
How can he stand about to him like that?
Vaughn, you just do not get it, do you? He's not doing it because he wants to. You know what would happen if he didn't.
I know, it's just...
So, what would you do different?
I don't know. Well... I'd do something.
Vaughn. Vaughn, you haven't heard a single word I've said, have you? This place has changed so much. It's like it's not even Rabanasta anymore. Like the Empire is swallowing it whole.
Might do something.
Hey, Penel, that fate tonight. You think they'll let us in?
Are you crazy? It's in the palace, and we don't have an invitation if you hadn't noticed.
So, how are we getting in?
As if I'd know. Why not ask Miguelo to get you in? Or go see old Dallin in Lowtown? Why the sudden interest, Vaughn?
I told you. I'm going to take back what's ours. Give back
I would have
to
been down with
Dalmasca.
playing as Rex for a little bit longer
What
to
do you
get
think?
further tutorialized,
If I
and then
find
still
something,
dying, and
and
then
it
playing
fetches
as
good
Bosch
price,
and
how about
the actual main
I buy you all
characters.
dinner?
Oh, please. You know as well as I do the first thing you'd buy is an airship. All hail Vaughn, sky part of Dalmasca. It's got a nice ring to it. Stay out of trouble.
An airship. I don't know. Maybe.
That's what he
But not
wants.
through Magello. Time to pay old Dallin a visit.
Old Dallin. Yeah, I like that. I don't mind that at all, sir. I think lots of stories need to have someone be your little like people on the ground view. Yeah, and you couldn't just play as him from the beginning, because if you did, you know, he has all this context that's hard to download to the audience. Andrew and I watched The Mummy 1999, the Brendan Fraser one, this past weekend, and just kind of like marveling at. It's not a perfect screenplay, and it's not a perfect movie. Like, a couple things in that movie are kind of oof now, 20 years later. But like, the character introductions are brilliant. I think, from a screenplay perspective, you get a few minutes with each of the new characters as they're introduced, and those few minutes tell you everything you need to know about that character to kind of appreciate the story from that point, you know? There's some video games that do a good job with that. God of War 2018 comes to mind. Both Last of Us games. The Uncharted games. I think they want me to... I don't have a map marker this time. Assume they don't want me to go to Lowtown. Is it the orange indicator, maybe? Where's Old Dallin? Yeah, I totally agree, Serp. It's always about, oh, here are these super important Jedi people, right? Let's put the shop in order. Oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to go to Lowtown. There's not a map marker for it. It was blocked off previously. Yeah, Vaughn does Hero's Journey, but he doesn't refuse the call. Call, here I come. I guess part of the problem is Vaughn is basically just locked into, like, phase 1 of his arc.
Ah, if it isn't Von Ratsbane. Come for a tip on how to secure something bigger and in armor by the East Gate?
Well, this is very Shenmue.
You already heard about that?
Wise I may not be, but well informed I am.
They'll get what's coming to them someday, believe me. But that's not why I'm here.
Do tell.
I want to know how to sneak into the palace. They've got to have some great stuff in there. Thought I'd partake.
Not one to mince words, are you, boy? The Empire protects all that's hers, and that means the palace and all the treasures inside.
That's why I'm gonna do it. To take back what's ours.
So our champion of the sewers aspires to noble action. Admirable. Perhaps I can help you. Ah, Now that I think on it, there was a rumor, yes. A secret passageway into the palace vaults. A door and a magic stone that opens the way.
That's it. This is exactly why I came to talk to you first, Alan. So, where's this, magic stone?
Oh, I've had it for years.
Yeah,
if
it
I
looks
can
cool.
remember where I've tucked it away.
The hookah and the bunny. Crescent stone, can I have it? Sunstone. Well, you gotta go to the Sun Temple in the distant past. You gotta leave it there, and then you gotta travel to the future. Talk to the Moogle and the Cartographers Guild. That's marked, right? Onion bombs. Jolly Seek. Yeah, have you ever played Final Fantasy Tactics, sir? That's what I was talking about with, like, and then later, Koji Fox went on to start using crazy archaic spellings and fun ways of phrasing things. I actually asked while playing Final Fantasy XIV whether Koji Fox was involved at all in the relocalization of Final Fantasy 12 and the or not 12 Tactics, the War of the Lions PSP port, because that one is full of like very flowery, like Song of Ice and Fire language. I like it too. It's certainly more interesting. As much as I have a place in my heart for Ted Woolsey and Spoony Bards. I'm excited to try to fight things before I'm supposed to and potentially win through constant combat pausing. This game is arguably still like ATB. It's just that it selects the attack command for you automatically, and you can interrupt that on every player turn. I want to pick up Libra, because once you scan something with Libra, is it permanently scanned?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's butt rock, grunts, bullshit. So I can't permanently know the statistics of enemies. I like games where scan is a thing you do once, then it remembers it for the future. It's another thing to like 100%. Would you like to buy a map? Sure, thank you. Moogles are cute in this game. The Elder by the tent. I guess the license board concept is kind of like a follow-up from the like laws in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Because FFTA came out before 12, didn't it? I thought. think I almost 100%ed Tactics Advance, but then never actually beat the game. I like got to the end game and then never kept going. Find Jin.
Penelo? What are you
I love the
doing
framing
here?
device of Tactics Advance. The snowball fight at the beginning.
Clear. No good.
What? I'm being good.
Is that right?
The Imperial guys have formal dialogue because it's
So
supposed to
then
be
you
like the
wouldn't mind
Imperials
if I,
in Star
say,
Wars,
tagged
right?
along, would you?
They're all British.
Oh, don't worry. Miguelo's busy with preparations for the fete up at the palace. Why, I'm free for the whole day. Well, let's get going.
I'm sure in the original Japanese it's very different politeness levels, right? Formality levels. Which are tough to localize. British, normal, and hick are kind of the best ways you can localize them in English sometimes. I guess you can get like overbearing old man says thee and thou like a ancient knight or something if you wanted to go ultra formal. Yeah, what is it other than like regional dialects, sir? Because they have other stuff that doesn't translate to English? Or localize, I guess. I haven't found Kamina. She's not on the map, I don't think. Nomad Youth. Okay. Crystal Glade. Regional dialects, though, you can usually just map to another regional dialect, right? In the target language. And same with, you can find an archaic word. I always turn my gambits off. You could use gambits for yourself. Yeah, that's in Mandarin as well. Conjugate something a certain way, you sound super old. Battle Mage. Capture foes for loot. Why not? I think she has a bow yet, right? Now, why won't it let me spend any license points here? Do I need to actually have one of those items or something? How do I get out of view mode? What? Those are the same thing. Okay. Time you first pick a board, will automatically put you into that mode. Short bow costs $450. How do I know if I can safely sell some of this stuff? Is this always vendor trash if it's in this last category at the end here? Or is it used for crafting or something? Sure, gambits. But it said it was going to be in the options menu here. Sell the vendor trash? Does it? Do I have to save it to sell to certain people, or? It just said that I unlocked gambits. That's complete. What I just got... Hold on, I'm confused. Short bow, right? You need ammunition. Now, is this just like a... not a consumable, basically? Quiver, okay. Got it. Well, I was worried about consumable ammo, going back to Final Fantasy IV, Dark Times. Onion just has an association with, like, a newbie. So I can turn on her gambits, but I don't have access to set gambits yet. Is that the problem? She'll just attack on her own, basically, if I set it. It's dangerous. Now, I can't change control of anyone, right? I can't, like, have them move separately. I can tell her to do something else, but I can't tell her to, like, walk away. So, I've heard that, like, archaic conjugation, like, you know, someone talks like an old samurai or something from 1,000 years ago, the sort of thing that would be localized into English is them saying like thee and thou, like Cyan in Final Fantasy VI, that was like a formality level, or that it was related to formality / politeness, or that all of it's just different ways to conjugate things, and you can use politeness as a shorthand to refer to that kind of difference from English. Or those are completely separate phenomena, is what you're saying, sir. So if I turn my gambit on, I still can issue my own commands. They override it. Okay. That guy looks fun. So begins the very good decision of attacking this thing. So it's like a squares and rectangles thing. Politeness and formality levels are a form of conjugation. Archaic speech is a form of conjugation, but they're not necessarily the same thing. How does, like, gender fit into that, right? Like, that's another way that's difficult to localize. Because you might say something like, specifically like an old man, or a young man, or a small boy, or an old woman. Sure. Yeah, I just want to make sure I talk about it, like, when I'm speaking very generally about Japanese is difficult to localize into English because there's a lot of hidden information in just the, like, raw text that doesn't make it without some massaging. But I don't just say politeness if that's not capturing the breadth of differences. Weird conjugations, maybe? I guess that also captures, like, counting words. Counting words is the big weird one that I'm used to from Mandarin, where you have like a word that you have to append to the end of your number that describes the sort of thing that you're counting. So you have like a word that means, you know, small mammal. I have 3 small mammal dogs, right? And 6 rod-shaped object pencils. Ignore counting. No, you would never translate counting words in English because no one cares. You know. There's a universal counting word in Mandarin that you can just use if you're a foreigner. No one will give you shit for it. You probably sound like a hick, though. I don't know. Yeah. I'm talking about Mandarin, though. I don't know how much that is exactly the same in Japanese or not. It can be tricky, though, when you find stuff like that that actually does encode information that wouldn't otherwise be encoded when localized, right? How aggro works in this game. I think it's also somewhat inspired by 11. Healing triggers aggro, for example. That was one of the dangers of using Benediction in Final Fantasy XI, is it would give you maximum aggro. Dark Crystal. Her hides come pre-tanned. Oh, nice. Let's see. 40 license plates. Oh, that sounds nice. Swiftness. Eunice says you know a lot. Sometimes you get characters that just, like, append meaningless suffixes to the end of things, which is often janky to try to localize. When I gain a license point, that goes to both me and Pinello, right? It doesn't get, like, divided or anything. Does license point accrual apply to non-recruited and non-active party members as well? In theory, yeah. I don't think Provoke in Final Fantasy XI worked like Provoke does in 14. I think it just gave you a flat amount of aggro. 14 Provoke gives you, well, whoever has the most aggro plus 1, right? So it's kind of useless as a tool to get aggro. It's kind of a bummer because 11 had this really cool job-sub-job system where you would have to actually level multiple jobs, and your sub-job you could have up to half of the level of your main job. So when I was playing, the max level was 75. Your sub-job could go up to 37, and you would get access to all of the abilities of the sub-job except the 2-hour. So there were potentially like shitloads of combinations of job, sub-job, but if you wanted to be a tank, you pretty much had to be a sub-job warrior, even if your main job was like tanking oriented, because warrior had provoke. I think most mage classes brought red mage as their sub-job because it gave you some MP regeneration utility and basic heals. That was a cool concept, though. I'd like to see them bring that back. It was a mechanical reason to want to level multiple jobs. Whereas in 14, it's kind of just a convenience that prevents you from ever needing to roll an alt. Explain the situation. Thanks, kid. Do I take it to the glowing stones elsewhere? Ben, I can't read when you stand there. Hey, thanks for the gauge. Man, there's a save crystal here. Beautiful. What's the infamous, unnecessary, like, translator's comment in Death Note? Oh, hey, that creature. I think 11 is when Square was like, you know what? We don't need to keep making new bomb models. We can just reuse the old bomb model. No reason to, like, reinvent the wheel. Maybe we'll redo the texture in a new game, but the basic wireframe's gonna stay the same. Ikaku means plan. Just say plan, guys. Great. Just spending money for the sake of spending money sometimes. Yeah, exactly. Hey, neat, it's X. They do some fun stuff with it in 14 where they'll like reuse the bomb to make like a pufferfish or something. And be like, ah, I get it. It's fun. Yeah, right, because the attacks, the special attacks, makes sense because they have to have a unique animation cycle for each of their special abilities, right? Oh, this pufferfish explodes for some reason. That makes sense. So I thought I picked up Libra on Vaughn. That was scary. Sorry, Pinello. That's funny. Smart that Dodaluma and Zanda have the same, Zonda have the same skeleton. They kind of look similar in FF6 and FF3. Dodaluma is the dropkick sprite guy in FF6, right? The one you fight in Zozo. There's another guy with the same sprite in when you recruit Sabin. Oh, really? I think I have one. Do I have to, like, learn the spell Libra from something? Oh, I guess I took light armor. No? I didn't take it. I just thought I did. Alright, never mind. I'm a dummy. Running past enemies. What a Final Fantasy XI tradition. Hey, it teleported me there. That's nice. Thanks, game. I think those owl things have the same skeleton in Lenosha, Final Fantasy 14. Sunstone. I forget, how does targeting work in this? Is it like, can I not get hit by an enemy attack because I'm far enough away from it that the melee just whiffs? Or are they guaranteed to, like, leash onto me and hit me once their turn comes up? It looks like I can outrun enemies in general, but I'm curious, once they've already queued up an attack, if I'm guaranteed to take the damage regardless of my actual distance. Oh, interesting, sir. So they'll like cue the attack and then they actually have to get in range in order for the hit to go off. I played a couple MMOs where like your physical location relative to an enemy attack is relevant, and other ones where it is completely irrelevant.
Hey, Vaughn.
Once the servers decided they're swinging at you, you're getting hit.
It's been a long time since we did anything together. Too long. I had a really good time. Well, I should probably be getting back to the store. Actually, I was
I've noticed that if your attack charges up and you step away, it turns like yellow.
And Vaughn, try to stay out of trouble. For me, I don't know what I'd do if you weren't here, if something happened to you.
I'm not going anywhere, okay?
That's what I wanted to hear. See you later.
Sorry, Penelo.
Oh, sorry, I was talking about the auto-attacking system in this game, sir. Whether they can hit you no matter how far away you are.
Now you'll be wanting to know how to sneak into the palace, eh? First you go to Storehouse 5. You know the one. 2 doors she has. Now the right takes Ban Ratsbane to his territorial hunting grounds in the sewer bottom. But that's not the way you'll go. No, you'll take the left door, down into the Garum Scythe waterway. The waterway leads to a stair. The stair to the palace cellars. That's your way in. But don't go counting your gil just yet, my boy. Getting into the palace was the easy part. The way into the treasury is carefully hidden. That's where this crescent stone comes in. The magics it bears can open the hidden door to the treasury, you see. Listen, Vaughn, for the words I shall speak are most important, and not to be forgotten. Do you understand? The signet yearns for sunstone strength to light the clouded way.
Use the sunstone on the signet.
Palace, you'll find the signet tile, very important. Give to it the sun's power, and it will light your path. Very well. Oh, a warning. Be aware that if you're caught, you'll spend the rest of your short life rotting in the Nalbina dungeons. So, look sharp, my boy. And don't go running off before you're ready. Plans freshly hatched have a habit of tumbling from the nest straight into the hunter's stew pot.
Crescent Stone. Right, we're at time. I'm going to head back to the save point real quick. I know it saves whenever I cross zones here. I recognize this waterway. Is there an Esper down here?
326 are in place.
That sounds familiar. I think that might be the one that I fought super early. The like Oogie Boogie one.
Hurry the others. By nightfall, we must ensure all our men are in
Kahulin, maybe?
place.
Sir.
I think that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. Kuchu Lane. Cool. I like fun alternate spellings. I like that for no reason George R.R. Martin spells it S-E-R, sir, for the knights. Adds some flavor. Alright. Thanks, folks. Let you know what's coming up here. I'm enjoying Final Fantasy XII so far. This game is fun. I'm excited to like actually get back to the story. We're kind of in like MMO new character side quest mode with Vaughn right now, which I'm less pumped about. But the game mechanics are fun. I like the new job license board concept. I guess maybe it just is there to like shrink your options a little bit so you don't get lost as easily. Future Marstead, you want to go back down into the Undercity, and there's an objective marker. So go through this door back here to progress. And good luck.